What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. SPY looking like it is going to hit all-time highs again. The bulls are just keep the train on rocking. We had some good swing plays. When the fear and greed index is showing that extreme fear, that is when you should be bullish in the market. That provides the best opportunities. And that's exactly what we did. In this video, I want to break down the overall state of the market. I'm also going to talk about the CPI numbers that are going to be released this Friday and what investors will be looking at. And then at the end of this video, I want to break down two separate stock picks that I had chose today. Both of them did play out very well, but a little bit differently. I want to take a look at the charts and just give everybody a better understanding of what I look at and what I like to see when it comes to investing and trading in a single day play. So let's get right into it. First off, this headline says it all. Stocks extend gains with virus concerns abating. Now, as soon as the variant news came out, it was like, oh my God, panic, panic, panic. You had the media pushing the narrative that everybody needs to go back inside their homes and never, ever leave again. And then all of a sudden, investors are getting fearful, pulling out of the market. That's where we saw a couple of those red days. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Seems like this is business as usual, just another variant. And until we have hard news that this is going to be anything different or more severe than any other variant there has been, such as the Delta variant, let's keep on rocking and going forward. If you take a look at the SPY, as you can see, this descending pattern that I kept up for everybody, a nice close above 460. We got that monster close above 465 and just a couple days away from hitting all-time highs. Again, the bulls are still in control. AMC getting back above that $31 level. We are seeing resistance at the 200 moving average, which we have not been below in quite some time. And you are seeing a little bit of divergence happening with the 50 crossing over the 100. But like I said, if the IWM and the small caps continue their strength, that will carry AMC as well until it gets really back into a strong buy zone for more investors than just you and I. You all know that I added to my position, and I believe it was 33.24 was my latest add to my position. But let's take a look at what is going to happen this week. So the latest numbers of the CPI, Consumer Price Index, are going to be released this Friday. They were starting to hold a little bit of stagnation and a little bit of transitory back in August and September, but the last month kind of blew out of the water at a 6.2%. Now, Jerome Powell has finally admitted that, wait a minute, inflation is not going to be transitory. But I feel like a lot of investors already kind of knew, seeing the writing on the wall, that inflation was going to get a little bit out of control before it starts to taper back a little bit. They just want to make sure this is in tune and his plans of the tapering and the interest rates are still going to be aligned as played out. Now let's talk about the two plays. Actually, we had a few plays. I'm going to talk about two of them specifically, and I want to break down the charts for everybody that was trading these today. And I want to talk about more specifically what I look at. But a couple of these were gapping up, and I want to highlight this one. These two right here is SYTA and CFVI. Now, CFVI was a former runner. It was continuation from a previous days. I said volume needs to persist at a $10 base, and I said wait for it to get above $13.50 to show some strength and direction. I don't like to play some of the seesaws, and we'll talk about that when I get into the charts. And this was another beautiful one. Wait for it to get above 475. Giving a price target and look for basing for it to continue to move higher. And let's look at these charts specifically because, and the reason why I'm making this, because a lot of people inside the group were also talking about some of these plays. And I want to just show you something and just take a look at what we are looking at right now. This is what I call kind of just like whiplash. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. There's no solid direction of where the stock is going. It has a little bit of basing, as I say here, this like 1280 where it's dipping down to. It did have, that 12.4 support from after hours, but there's not any solid basing. It just kind of touches and then whiplashes up. And like I said, as soon as it kind of rips up, it yanks you back down. And this is a chart that is not very favorable to myself personally and to what I feel a lot of traders, because it's hard to get in and find a good solid position with still having a lot of conviction of where the stock is going to go. So I had said wait for it to get above that 1350 because that's going to show a break of resistance, which it did, and it got almost a dollar move higher, but it wasn't an easy move. You got pulled up, you got ripped back down, you're moving back up high and ripped back down. And if you look at one of the things that I always pay attention to is the volume. When you see thin volume on the 1 minute candle, as you can see here, 25,000, 10,000, 40,000, 60,000. Once it gets some of the gains, it's got a little bit of volume, but like 360, 270. It's not an insane amount of volume. And we'll look at another chart to give you some comparison. When there is low volume, that's where you can see these whiplashes happening. But let's take a look at this chart right here, SYTA. This was a beautiful play. Now, the first thing that you are seeing immediately when looking at this chart is once it got the gap up in pre-market, it formed a base on that $4. It didn't get below it. The chart is much tighter, okay? It's much tighter than the other chart that we just looked at on CFVI. You're not getting the whiplash where you buy and then 10, not even 30 seconds to a minute and a half later, you're already down 5%. It's much tighter. It's much easier to see where the direction is happening. And if you watch that break of resistance at 475, you could have taken it up, move your stops, leave your stops at 550. You're securing a gain, but waiting for there to be a bigger move because you can see these 1.2 million, 900,000, another 900,000, 600,000 on the 1 minute chart. That's a lot of volume. That's what I always look for when I'm trying to find a stock that I want to invest in and trade in. And as you can see, this red line right here, I kept on calling it out that it was bouncing off of this line or also bouncing off the VWAP, which I don't have the VWAP whenever I make videos because I like to show you guys from a little bit longer of a time frame. But whenever I'm playing a day play, I always use the VWAP. That middle VWAP, it just kept on bouncing off of. And you could have scooped this up. I mean, look at this move alone was a 13% move after it already happened a few times. Even this one right here, I think was about an 8 to 9% move. Now, even if you bought it after this bounce right here, which I had actually said to everybody that it looked like the stock was getting weak, volume was starting to dissipate a little bit, and just a natural feeling of how the stock was moving, it looked like it was getting weak. Even if you bought it right here, once it broke below, you sold for a loss, that's okay because you already had so many opportunities coming together. So if you are looking to be able to expand some of your day trades, whether you are an active trader, whether you only have one trade, whether you are working, come check out the group because I lay all of these out with pretty detailed descriptions every single morning before the market opens. I try to get as close as I can, try to about 9:15, so it gives you an idea of exactly where the stock is trending, but also you can take a look at how these patterns move and why something like this, it's a little bit easier to see where the direction is going versus a stock like this. A lot of choppiness. Now your gains, I mean, you still make some money on this one, but like I said, it's a little bit more difficult. So I know I really didn't really talk about this yet, so I hope this broke us down. I hope I broke that down for you in this video. That's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.